Hello, and thank you so much for serving on this Sunday, February 4th, 2024. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of what to expect from today's lesson. It is the first Sunday of the month, which means it is Memory Verse Lesson Sunday. So this is the Sunday that we introduce our new memory verse, and we really focus in on it. We try to teach the context of the verse so that they understand what was happening in the Bible, where their verse is located, to give it some more weight to rather than just memorizing it. So as usual, arrive at 9:30 to the check-in room so you can pray together during your huddle time as a team. And when you come to the classroom, you're going to set out the centers for the kids to do. There are a few new ones, but they've had them for about a month, so they should know what to do. It's the same as usual. They're going to get them from the right bookcase, play with them at their table. They can switch tables if they want, but at 10:10, when center time is up, everything needs to be cleaned up. Any centerpieces that were dropped on the floor need to be picked up and put away. So at that point, the YouTube channel could have been turned on earlier, but at this point, it for sure needs to be turned on. So you're going to turn on the TV, open the YouTube app, click Lindsay, and then find the Oaks playlist. And this week's song is Every Move I Make. So they're going to do that song together to worship. They can sing, dance. Their words and the motions are both in the video. And then at 10:20, it is time to separate the groups. So if you are teaching 3rd through 5th grade, you're going to go upstairs. And as always, the yellow bag is on the hooks that are hanging on the wall. I'm going to show it to you really quick right there. The yellow bag will usually have everything that you need in it, with the caveat of sometimes if I've run the copies upstairs, I'll leave them in the room. Or if it's something large, I don't want you to have to move, that's already up there. But this week, everything is in the yellow bag. It's going to be paper clipped and labeled for boys or girls. So once the groups are separated, we're going to start with introducing our new memory verse, which is 1 John chapter 4, verse 9. And so this week we're doing part 1. In this, the love of God was made manifest among us, that God sent his only Son into the world. So you're going to practice this whole verse together. If you're downstairs, you have a few missing words on the verse sheet, which is up there on the bulletin board. If you are upstairs, you're going to have a blank sheet, and so they're going to write out that whole part together. If they're struggling with spelling, spell together as a group. Some of those words are going to be very difficult. So work together as a team to spell those words out. So get that part on there, practice the memory verse together multiple times. You can do an echo read, a choral read, let someone lead the group. And then it's time for Taco's prayer strategy, which they've been focused on since August. They should know what each letter stands for. They actually just did their lesson this past week. They have tacos up there to help remind them. And so they can give 2 or 3 examples for each area of thankfulness, adoration, others, and self. Confession is just going to be the broad term of sin, thinking that we know better than God. Because we want confession to be something between them and God. If they want to talk to an adult, like a family member or a teacher, then that is great, but we're not going to talk about it in front of the entire group. So we're going to do that and then end with the Lord's Prayer, and then we're going to get into our lesson. So since it's Memory Verse Sunday, we do not have a new Gospel Story Bible lesson on that first week of each month. We're going to focus in on our memory verse. And so you're going to get out the ESV Bibles and look up the memory verse, but we're going to zoom out to verses 7 through 12. I'm sorry, zoom out, not zoom in, so that we can see the context of it. And so K through 2, you're going to really focus on finding it. They're probably going to struggle with knowing the difference between John and 1 John. So that's a good thing to focus in on, that the difference between those books of the Bible. And then 3rd through 5th, they're going to find it as well. They can read it in partners or in groups of 3 before the teacher reads it out loud to them. I do recommend that the teacher reads it out loud after the kids read it, especially when it's a short section like this, because a lot of times there will be words that can be confusing and they might be embarrassed to ask, but hearing it out loud after they've read it independently can help provide some understanding. So then you're going to go over the questions together. One question that I did not write on here, which I do want you to focus in on, is the word manifest. That's going to be very confusing about how God's love was made manifest. So manifest means clear, right in front of you, something that you can see. So God's love was very clear in front of us by giving us Jesus. And so you could even give the NIV version of the Bible, if you want to look that up on there. It gives a different translation, which helps to better understand what the word manifest means. And then when you finish the questions, you're going to say the memory verse together one more time, and then you're your activity for this week is the same in all the classrooms. It is just our memory verse worksheet, which is the same every month. So it's two-sided. One side is kind of bubble letters that they can color in a pattern. The other side they can trace. It's got the very fine dots there. They need to take this home for sure, so then that way they can use this to practice their memory verse at home. And then the other thing is if they finish that, then there's bracelets. So I did one example bracelet for both groups. I just wrote where the verse is located rather than try to write the entire memory verse. I recommend using Sharpies. So if you are upstairs, it's just with your regular supplies. If you are downstairs, it's on that gray rolling cart where the lesson plans and the materials are. There is a little cup full of black Sharpies that kids can share. There should be enough for every 2 kids to be able to share one. But I do recommend just writing this instead of trying to write out the entire verse, because otherwise it will bleed together very easily. So yes, they're just going to do the memory verse sheet, both sides, and they're going to create themselves a bracelet, and you can pull it apart and put it on their arm so they can wear that home with them. And that is it. They're doing all that they're doing for their activity. If there is extra time, then upstairs you can watch the 3rd through 5th grade can watch the Bible Project's YouTube video on the book of 1 John. And I wrote 11:10. At 11:10, that is when you are going to head downstairs. They're no longer going to be receiving a text unless if the sermon ends sooner than 11:10 or if there's some sort of an emergency. But plan to leave at 11:10 to head back downstairs to rejoin the classroom downstairs so that you'll already be down here rather than waiting for a text. Then dismissal, make sure that the kids are in the worship area. You can turn on the playlist again. There are 2 videos about Abraham on there. They're both, one's 10 minutes and one's 14 minutes, I believe. So pick one of them to turn on. You can turn on, there's a starlight over there with a remote control. It's right underneath the television. So you can turn the lights off, put on the stars, let them watch an Abraham video while they are waiting to hear their name to be called for dismissal. This will help hopefully cut down on some chaos at checkout time. But that is it. Thank you guys so much for serving. I will see you on Sunday. I'll actually be serving with you this week, so I will see you back here. Have a great day. Thank you.